Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Ben, and today we're going to proceed with part 2 of this video, right? So first we registered the URLs which were here. That's good. Next, we're able to get access token. We constructed this class for access token. Next, we're able to register the URLs, and now we need to consume this URL. We need to consume them, right? And we need at least 2 endpoints, and we need to save the responses to our database. So it is not possible, it was not possible for me technically to do this in one video because it would have been too long, because here we are now introducing something called entity framework, and this is now the database layer for ASP.NET. I'm not sure this is a database layer, or we can call it an ORM or something like that, right? But basically it enables us now to communicate, or our code to communicate with the database. It will help us with dealing with models and all that, and we're going to do this now in a very nice simple steps. I cannot insist how much important it is for every developer to always maintain models for the project. 2 things very important: models and tests. For us, we are going to skip doing tests on this one, but for models we have to go that route if you want us to save it on the database. Enough of ranting. So let me now start by doing what is necessary. Okay, so I'm going to close the URLs that we don't, some things we don't need here. So we'll need this. Let me remove this one. We'll not need that for now. We'll need this one. So let me just go here. Last time we did we added this package called what? Newtonsoft, for helping us with JSON tasks, right? And we need something called entity framework, which again I think it's also here, so I can just type entity framework. This is where you can get .NET packages, Microsoft Entity Framework. If you can't get it there, let me just go and copy it and search it from here. Microsoft Entity Framework, which is here. Perfect. So we need this entity framework, which will help us. Entity framework is a modern database mapper.NET. Suppose link queries and all that and all that and all that. Okay. Yeah, so basically it is that. Okay, so supported databases, let me see. Perfect. Yeah, I wanted to use this one for Pomelo. It's called Pomelo Entity Framework, MySQL. Let's click this, and when you go down here they'll show you how to install it. So let's scroll and you'll see we have a package reference here, this one. So this is what I want, so I'm going to copy this. Copy it, we go to our package manager here, we add it. If we hit save, it will prompt us to run reload or refresh. Don't want to do that first because we still need something else, and that is going to be the entity framework itself, and we'll need also a few things for us to be able to use it. So I'm going to bring in the few things that we also need, so that we'll be able to work with this, right? So I'll do that. So we needed these 2 packages. So we need to have at least the MySQL and JSON, Microsoft, Newtonsoft. I don't think they're important to have all of them, but let's just have it. Okay. So let me now save this, but first of all let me stop this one so that we don't get build errors. Now save it. So when you save, it will detect and click restore, so it will install all those packages. And actually it's like it's done because we already had them. Yes, you can also check them inside our project assets, and you will see that we have some of them here. And if you just look at them carefully, you'll see we have entity framework here, and the other one for Pomelo is still here, but that is not why we're here today. Thing is, we've already installed it. Okay, now this is just one of the ways. There's something else that we'll need, and that is Microsoft entity framework core for helping us with the designing of what we call what do we call them? This design is very important for helping us with migration. Yeah, I wanted to say migrations and forms, things like that, but it's very important to help us with the migrations, and you'll see where it will come in. So we need to have at least this one. Click restore for you to install it. We already have it locally installed, so it won't download it. For the first time it might take some time. After that, now we need to go here, and we need as well to open this. Let's open this and go to our settings.json file. Okay, and inside our settings.json file we need to have something, because we want to connect to our database, right? So I'm going here and I'm going to create another object, which is connection string, as you can see. Perfect. And this connection string is going to have our default connection. You can call it what you want. Default connection is what I prefer. So default connection, and this is going now to be our connection string to our database. And for MySQL, you need to do server, which is going to be localhost, like that. Full colons. You need to say the user is. So the user here is going to be root. After that, we need a password. And my local database, the one I'm using here, has just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as password. And then we need now to point to our database, and I'm going to use what we call ASP demo 1. That is now my connection string. So this default connection will connect to localhost, username, password, and all that. So if you go live, we'll discuss that one, but this is where you will need to change to point to your database. Okay, after that, if you look at this, we don't have the data folder, so I'll click here and create a folder called data, and this now will contain our database context. Okay, so I'm going to create our database context. So it's going to be, we're going to create a class here. It's going to be a class. This class is going to be application db context, like that. And once we have it, we'll need to give it a db context, like that, like that. So we'll also need to import some few things here, and one of them will be the entity framework. As you can see, we have entity framework, and that will fix the problem. Okay, we also need to bring in our models, but we'll do that once we are done. So once we have this, we need now to declare or pass at least our options, and the first options that we're going to do is to create a constructor for this, which is going to be public. Constructor need to be the same as the name of the class. Application db context, which is going to be db context options. db context options, this provided by entity framework, and we're going to pass in our application db context, because that's what it depends on. So our data should be like that, and these should be our options. And here now we just say this is going to be base and options, like that. Base options, perfect, and like that. Something that is having problem here is these options. So where do we get that option? We're going to bring in the db options. No, I didn't want to do this. Okay, let's leave it for now first. We'll come and fix it, right? We'll come and fix it. I'll show you how that one will fix. Now once we have that, now go back to this one, not here, but to our program, and we want to bring in our context. You remember that almost all the time we need to have our context, our, do I call them global settings here? Yeah, I think I'll call them like that. So we're going to have it here, and to do it I want to go to my builder. So let me comment this code well. So this is HTTP client we did together. This is going to be our database context, like that, and we're going to do builder dot services. Then we want to add database, which is db context, like that. This db context is going to take our application db context. Can you see it here? So we're going to have application db contexts, like that, and we're required to pass the options. So I'll say options, these options, spelling here, and these options need to have the options actually, right? So the options, let me do this, bring it down here, let's have it there, and then now we have this. And the first thing we need to do is to do use MySQL. Do we have it here? We don't have it, so we'll just do use my, supposed to be capital letters, so use MySQL. Perfect. And we need to pass a few things, but before that let's now fix this one. So we come here, click, say use that one, so this goes away. Okay, then this one, click on this, then you go here and use entity framework core. So now we have MySQL there, and it needs a few things here. Okay, so the first one we need to pass is the connection. And where is our connection? Our connection, we can get it through getting our builder. We need to get our configuration, because that is our configuration, and we need to get our connection string. So get connection string. What was the name of our connection string? We look at our connection string here, it was default connection. So you just copy it and we pass it there. Next we need to pass in our database version. I currently don't have any version, so I'm just going to do null, but it's very important for you to know the version of your MySQL and use it there. Then we can define other things like log, enable errors, enable sensitive data login, and all that. All those options are here, Pomelo here. So if you go, you look at the logs that you want, things that you should remove in production or change them. So we can enable this if you want. If we don't, we can leave it like that. If you want to declare MySQL version, this is how you do it, and I think mine is version 6 or something like that. So you can just again or just copy that on the way it is and use it. But so far so good. So we have been able to at least set our connection, and that is all that is required for this one. And now we can go back to our DB connection here and start now fixing these things, right? So we can click here and click here, and we need options like this. Out options like that. Great, thank you. So we have fixed the problem. Now we are ready now to go. Okay, so our database is now supposed to be working correctly. We can check that if it's okay. So you can just go here, you can do .NET EF migrations add, and you can just add anything. So maybe test. have a problem. I mean, we have a problem here because we have misspelled built-in.NET command intent to execute and EF does not. Okay, yeah, we don't have EF. This one, very interesting. I had this same problem on another one, but I'll show you how to fix it. So to fix this error that .NET EF does not exist, I had to create this folder, which is config and then .NET tools, and added this version. Is root tools .NET EF, the version and the commands. So the commands is .NET EF. So by doing this, we're able now to use, it's called local copy or something like that. Okay. So this one now will fix this error on .EF, .NET EF. So if we do now .NET EF, add the migration, you can see build succeeded, but we have a problem with server version, that is MySQL server version, which is what we put null here. So maybe I can just go back here and copy this and just use it here. So we'll get rid of that error. So here, and then I'll put server version like that and run it again. Build succeeded. Now we have everything set, and you'll see a folder here called migrations with our tests folder here and this one. And if we want to create this database and all that, we can just do. So we'll log into our database. We'll create that database because we don't have it. So I'll create database ASP demo 1 like that. We've created, so I'll say use ASP demo 1 DB, and when we maybe show tables, we won't see anything, it's empty, right? So let's run again the command. So I'll do that. Oh, sorry, not remove. We should do add migration tests. Build succeeded. We can do database. We can do EF database update. This will create our migration. Perfect. So if we go to here now and do the same, now you see you have our migration table created. And if we select all from this one, you'll see that we have our test migration has already run and on this MySQL version. So we have already started, right? Clear this. Awesome. Now let's create now our M-Pesa migration model, and I think here I'm going to change my database. So I'm going to change it to a certain app I'm doing here. I'm going to show or describe. I want to describe the C2B table. So C2B callbacks M-Pesa. I think it's like that. Perfect. So this is the data that we are going to have. So I've described how we are saving these details. So we need our model to have this data here, as you can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with creating this model. So I'll go to models, new class, and I'll call this M-Pesa C2B class, like that. This is going to be a model, though it is, so you can see these are models. And now let's have these ones. So we'll have our ID. So I'll do public ID, which is integer. So I'll just do int ID get set. After that, we'll now start adding these ones. We have to do this. I'm not sure that there's an automatic way of doing it or just manual, but we're just using this as a reference database. So let's just start copying this. Okay, so I'll just copy transaction type, so I'll do public string transaction type, and it's going to be get set models. Very important, very important, guys, very important. I won't explain more, but ensure that if you're building your own business, ensure that you have models for your systems. Very important, very important. The next is public string. We have that transaction ID. Next thing I want to do is to create a data. I want to change this so that we can have it created automatically. So I'll have my public constructor here, which is M-Pesa C2B, and this is going to have created that as date time dot now. Date time dot now. We have a problem with date time dot now. What do you think this is coming from? Oh, right, yeah, this is the problem. So this is supposed to be date time. We were converting it to string, which was wrong. Perfect. So that's done. So this is our model. Okay. Okay, leave it on the others. So these are just recommendations it's giving us. So once we have this, now we need to create a migration for it. This is our model. So we're expecting that M-Pesa will respond to our endpoints with any of this. So now let's create our model. All right, but before that, before we create a model, we need now to go to our, remember we had our data, the DB context. Okay, we need to create a database as well here. We need to like now bring it for it to be able to be usable here. Yeah, so what we do, we're going to bring it here, say public. I'm going to say it's virtual, and what do we want? We want to do db set, db set, perfect. And what do you want? We want to bring M-Pesa C2B class, like that. We need to bring this in, okay, and then we now give it a different name, which is M-Pesa C2B, no problem, and we just have the normal get and set like that. We need to bring models, so using models, that is fixed. And then when we call this, we need to have something what we call on model creating, so that when that model is created, the build will run. So here we need to do, remember we had this, huh? You remember it very well. So let's have another class here, protected method. Going to override and return nothing on model creating. So here we need model builder, to just call it model builder. And what do we need? It will be base dot on model creating, pass in our model builder, like that. So we are overriding this class, and if you look at what this method is, you'll understand. So every time we create our, we bring just our model here, automatically we'll create a table for it. So let's do that. So if you go to our migrations, we only have one table. We have the designer. Remember I told you we needed to add the designer package. This one. Let's go back. Where is it? Migration. So we have our test. This is supposed to be our table with our designer, and this is just normal. So let's now create our table. So as usual, we do .NET ef migrations add, and this is create M-Pesa base table. Let me do that. Base tables, and I'm saying it's base because if we need to add or alter a field, we can add another model for that. So do that. Let's hope it will build. Build succeeded. Amazing. So let me go back, and as you can see, we have now M-Pesa table here. Looking at it, you see we have, it has created everything for us. We have a column. Table is M-Pesa C2Bs. We have our column integer, which is supposed to be, what's the name? This ID. Yeah. Then we have this column. What is the name? Oh, sorry. These are the names. So the name is there. The trans ID, which is the column name. So table column. This is long text. You have trans amount, which is all that. And if we now go here, clear. How do we clear on MySQL? Okay, I don't know. Maybe you can exit, clear, and gonna come back in, then use ASP demo one table, then select or show all tables. Show tables. You will see that we don't have the C2B table. Show what? You have an error. Use. Okay, it's supposed to be use, not use. Perfect. Then show tables. We just have one table. Okay, so let's run the .NET ef database update, which is like run migration. So you'll see it creating. You even see the create command here, and you can see the create table command here because we have enabled the logs. So you go to MySQL here again, show tables, and now you see we have table C2B. If we describe it, M-Pesa C2Bs, you see now we have everything that we needed. So here is the table. So you see you have ID, which is a primary key, auto increment, we have everything, and created that, which is a datetime. This not now. Okay, perfect. We are done with part 1, guys. Now that was the longest or the biggest chunk that we needed to make sure that we have done, and I hope I've been able to explain myself better. I'm not sure whether I was able to, but I'm hoping that you've understood how to create models and creating models and tables and all that. Okay, now we close everything, we go back to our class. So we are registering the URL here, and I'm hoping we have. I'm going to create now 2 endpoints, one for confirmation and the other one for validation. As told you, I'm not going to create a new class or controller. I'm just going to use the home controller. So I'm going to create these two. These two, remember, are going to be post endpoints, and whatever we're going to get here, we need to save them on our, to our database. And we already have the model defined, so that one you're not going to define a model the way we have done it here. This should be a model, but we're not going to do this because we already have it, right? So let's go here now, and now this is now our confirmation endpoint, like that. And what we have on our confirmation endpoint, we're going to need to have our HTTP post, like that. Then we need to have a route, and this route is going to be confirmation. We can even just do payments, then confirmation. I'm not sure whether this will work. We'll test it together. So we can also do it like that, so that we can know this is just going to payments, and we can later, if our project grows, we can remove this into its own controller, right? So we can have that, and then we can have now public. We need async because we will save this data to database, and this is again a task. Anything async is a task, and here we will need to return a string. Need a string, perfect. And this is going to be confirmation or payment confirmation. Just call it payment confirmation, like that. Okay, I think we should stop there. That is pretty long. So in the next class, probably we look at now saving it and we finalize, right? I don't want to have 50 minutes classes, so sorry for that. Let's meet in the next class and we finish this thing. Thank you very much. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, around 80% of people who are watching my videos are not subscribed. I hope you're not one of them, right? So please subscribe, leave a comment, like, and let's meet in the next video.